Bustin' mad like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a garden and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sight like a lot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is a time of the month where a lot of the content that we talk about here on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy. So I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you guys are all caught up with the manga and you've already hit the like button because Himawari needs a reason to smile, because Himawari knows that her future sister-in-law is not a nice, wholesome girl, but instead she's somebody who belongs to the village. So make sure to hit the like button because Himawari's not very happy right now. So smash that like button. That way Himawari smiles. But with that being said, let's get right into the actual discussion. So I want to talk to you guys about this major moment that happens in the Boruto manga. I told you guys when we got the spoilers that if I got confirmation that Ada was sitting there making goo-goo eyes at Boruto the way that the spoilers are translated, and in the Japanese raw it was directly stated that she refers to Boruto as Boruto-kun, I said, man, I'm gonna make a video on this if this happens. And lo and behold, when we get the actual manga chapter, not only does Ada in the English translation say that's so hot, but she also goes eek and she's got her hand over her mouth, and we can look at that and assume that my girl got a nosebleed. Oh my lord, this girl's down bad. This is wow. At this point, Ada's getting ready to make a personal trip to the Uzumaki household at this point. But being serious, I want to talk to you guys right now about the very real situation we're in. Boruto now has his own version of Asta's harem, which is essentially he's got just about every female you can think of in the Boruto manga right now who's already kind of jumping in line to get onto that Space Mountain ride, which is the most popular ride known to man, and it's got the longest ride according to Ric Flair. But the thing about this is that I love this idea of Ada being turned on by Boruto. I love it. I know there are some people that look at it and they say, you know, Ada looks a little bit older, and like I said in the past, the fact that she's drinking alcohol, you can make the argument that Ada's probably 20 years old because the drinking age in Japan is 20. The Naruto franchise references a lot of stuff in Chinese and Japanese culture, especially Japanese culture, so it's not too crazy to make the assumption that Ada might be 20 right here. But that remains to be seen until we get a legitimate data book for Boruto where we get the characters' ages and etc. But the thing I'm definitely going to say here is that part of the reason why I like this idea of Boruto and Ada being together is it's so refreshing, because every time we hear anything about ship, you have the Boruto and Sumire ship, you have the Boruto and Sarada ship, you even have people that ship Boruto and Mitsuki together. Ada and Boruto has the potential to be something so wholesome, because this is a character in Ada who is looking for that real connection. She's looking for that real source of love, and what she's witnessing with Boruto here right now is Boruto's affection for Kawaki. It's that brotherly sibling love that comes from the most sincere places. For somebody like Ada, who is able to willingly control the hearts of people and make them fall in love with her, seeing that genuine uncoerced love is something to where Ada is going to see that, and of course she's going to be impacted by it. Ada, you have to kind of look at it from the mental mind state right now. Ada had her body experimented on by Amato. That means that just as Kawaki has that moment in Boruto episode 217 where he's sitting there and he's having the panic attacks, and in one of his flashbacks you can actually see Amato experimenting on his body, just as that's ingrained into Kawaki's brain. You can believe that Ada is going to remember Amato cutting up her body as well, and just as Kawaki was implied to be terrified in that flashback, the same thing could be argued with that character Ada. And just as Kawaki was embracing into his rage and is not the biggest fan of Amato, Ada's kind of said the same thing. And the way that this relates over into Boruto is that Ada said that she is unable to feel real love because of what Amato did for her. She's not sure if people are into it for her or if people are into her because of her abilities. And I like that. That's a very human response for the character Ada? Well, seeing Boruto react to Kawaki and wanting to protect him and showing that deep desire, love, and affection for Kawaki in a very platonic way and accept him in that manner, Ada has never experienced that real love in that way. And so I think the idea of her getting turned on by seeing that side of Boruto is something that works. And when you look at what she said when she was talking about Kawaki and Boruto, she didn't necessarily shut the door on Boruto as a character and as a potential love interest for her heart. I think a lot of people focus more so on the Kawaki thing because she's been so horny for Kawaki for the last few chapters, but she directly called Boruto cute. She called him dreamy as well. So the idea of Ada flip-flopping from Kawaki to Boruto is not something that's crazy, and I don't think that was put in there for just filler. As a writer, you don't drop something like that in there and you don't explore it to a certain extent. I think that this is Kishimoto exploring it. Again, I don't think that this is likely, but I am saying that from a narrative perspective, I can see how an Ada and Boruto relationship could work. Again, just from a narrative perspective. I'm not saying I think that this is the likely thing. I think sometimes people forget that just because I talk about so many different possibilities and I give you my thoughts on whether or not I think something is likely. But the thing I'll say is that looking at Ada developing feelings for Boruto, the reason why narratively you can get away with something like this is, yes, she was focused on the character of Kawaki, but when she's talking to Code specifically asks, like, hey, I've got to feed one of them to the Ten Tails, so are you sure you want Kawaki? Because isn't Boruto one of your princes? You know, we can't go backwards at this point. And Ada says that she's monogamous, saying that she's only going to be loyal to Kawaki. But the thing about this is that I don't think it's crazy for Kishimoto to have Ada drop a random line like how Sakura dropped that random line when she was trying to protect Naruto during the 5 Kage summit, where she said that a woman's heart can change like the seasons. I don't think it's too crazy that Ada goes from Team Kawaki to all of a sudden being on Team Boruto. And if you want to insert the dirty jokes about Boruto being able to make shadow clones and make more shadow clones than Kawaki, go at it, have at it, Hoss. But the thing that I'm saying though is that they only need to feed one of them to the Ten Tails, Kawaki or Boruto, and Code would have no problem feeding Kawaki to the Ten Tails if that ever came up. Obviously, Boruto would not go along with something like that, but from a conflict perspective, Boruto's response to Ada making that suggestion, that's something that could work from a conflict perspective. But the thing on it is that Kishimoto built in a way to backdoor have Ada go to Boruto from Kawaki if he chooses to go that route, just because in Boruto chapter, I believe chapter 56, no, it's chapter 57. In chapter 57, she says that Boruto, right, he's cute and he's dreamy too, but what about your objectives? Don't you need Ten Tails fodder to cultivate a divine tree? Code asks, are you sure you'll be down one precious prince? And that's when she says, no worries, despite her appearances, that she's a monogamous person. Well, the thing about that is that one or the other has to kind of be fed. And I'm kind of wondering if that's something that gets played with, you know, especially if Code finds out that Ada got the hots for Boruto as well. I'm wondering if Ada's in a position where she can't choose between the two of them and she ends up turning on Code. One thing I've told you guys for the longest is that I see a rift developing between Ada and Code at some point. I don't think that this is going to be a long-lasting alliance. Ada is manipulative. I really believe that she's using Code as a means to an end. As corny as this sounds, that means to an end for her is she just wants to feel real love. She wants to feel that real love that somebody has for an individual that isn't being controlled and manipulated by her ability. And I think that that's a large part of the reason why she got turned on by Boruto in that time. And her indecisiveness between Boruto and Kawaki could be used as a split for the character of Code. And I'll go ahead and say this now because I'm working on a video for it, but I do think that you can use Ada as a catalyst for what ends up being the split between Boruto and Kawaki in the future. But I say that to say, I know we got all of the big time ships like Boruto and Sumire and Boruto and Mitsuki and Boruto and Sarada, and I know some of you guys like Boruto and Chocho. I see the comments. You know who you are. Go ahead and rep your ship. I know some of you guys want to see Boruto and Chocho do the thing. The fact of the matter is that I personally like the idea of just breaking the mold. Just as Masashi Kishimoto broke the mold when he broke the shonen cliche of the main character getting with the hot-tempered, hot-blooded female heroine. In that case, it would have been Sakura if you go by the trope and all the other stuff. Just as Kishimoto broke that trope, I'm okay with Kishimoto breaking the trope yet again, and he's got a lane for it if he allows Boruto to be that character that shows Ada that she doesn't have to manipulate people in order to get them to love her. That is something that could work. And Boruto has that same ability that Naruto has, and this is where the poetic part of this comes in. Just as Naruto was able to reach people and change their hearts through his actions and through his words, Boruto has that same ability. And the idea of Boruto using that gift that he got from Naruto onto somebody who is able to control the hearts and feelings of other people, Boruto using that ability on Ada and her falling in love with them, that's something that is very pure. And if it's done correctly, it could be a stroke of genius. However, I want to know from you guys, man. Let me know what your ship down is in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to pray to Lady 1010. Don't forget to subscribe to Eno's OnlyFans. Have an awesome day, guys.